audio. Hello, we're back. We're going to hit nomenclature next. And just take it from the top, I guess. We have heptadiene, 1,6-heptadiene. So 1, 2, 4, 6, 7. Carbons 1 and 2 have a double bond. Carbons 6 and 7 have a double bond. R5-phenyl-1-nonene. Nonene, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Double bond between 1 and 2. Carbon 5 is a stereocenter. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, can I move it up a little bit? Yeah, I gotta move my double bond too. 5's a stereocenter. It's got a phenyl on it. No short forms. You gotta show me you know how to draw a phenyl. You draw what looks like cyclohexane, and then you alternate double bond, single bond, double bond, single bond, double bond. Don't invent your own way to draw a phenyl, please. I haven't included my stereocenter yet. If I connect 1 to 2 to 3, it's R, and that's what I want. So that means H on a dash, the number 4 on a dash. Things worked out. And this adjacent bond is a wedge. 2 out of 2. S and E and 4-allele and 1,4-divinyl and cyclooctane. Start by drawing cyclooctane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cyclooctane has a double bond. One of those carbons must be carbon 1. And carbon 4 would be here. And 1 has a vinyl. 1 has a vinyl. We'll put that in, I don't know, purple. C double C off of 1. And carbon 4 has a vinyl as well. And carbon 4 has an allele. Not a genetic allele, an allele group. Now, was I lucky on the E and Z? And it looks like I was, because to do E and Z, we got a 2 for the hydrogen. It's lighter than the carbon on the same side of the double bond. 2 for the hydrogen is lighter than the carbon. And a C double C has 2 bonds to C. And this has only 1. And the 1s are on opposite sides, so it is E. Now, if the question was Z there instead, and I drew it like this, you know my fix would be quite simple. If I needed to fix it to be Z, pretend this was Z, just for the purpose of this argument, I would redraw, and it wouldn't be pretty, but this would successfully accomplish my goal. I'd put that H clearly here so that the 1 is on the opposite side as the 1. Or wait, no, the 2 is on the same side as the 2, and the 1, look, there's nothing between the 2 1s on there. So this would now be Z, and you didn't have to redraw the whole molecule, but this was not a Z question. So Control Z gets us back to our original answer. Stereocenter on 4 is S. The priorities go, this I suspect might be a little bit on the sneaky side, but not terrible. Which CH2 do you like better of these two? Well, they both go to a C double C. CH2 both go to a C double C. And the C double C has 1 bond to H. C double C has 1 bond to H. The next C here has nothing but C. Can you say the same thing about the next C here? The answer, no. So we have a 2 here, and we have a 3 here, and we have a 4 here. The only question now is the 4 on a wedge or a dash? And the stereocenter is currently S if the number 4 is on a dash, and that's what we want in the question. So I'm going to put the 4 on a dash and make sure the wedge is on an adjacent bond. Beautiful. Bicyclo 752. You do your 2 dots. Seems like we have a nice wide box here. We don't even have boxes on your exams. There's the 2 dots. Need 7 carbons between the dots. That's what the 7 means. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Need 5 between the dots. You can put it below. You can put it above. I don't care. I'll put it in the middle. Why not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I need 2 more between the dots. 1, 2. Maybe make my dots a little bigger. There, nice big fat dots. Okay. I can't move that. There we go. Save. Got a half point so far out of 5. You decide which of your dots is number 1. I'll just decide right now. 1 is there. I need an isobutyl on 1. That's a 3 carbon group with a V off the end. 1, 2, 3, V. Carbon 9 also has an isobutyl. Where is carbon 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hey, it's on the other. Yeah. There we go. There's a double bond between 4 and 5. Well, we decided that one was 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Double bond between 4 and 5. And there's a group on 5, which is the second part. And it's this E2 iodovinyl group. The question is, do we draw it here? In which case it would be, this would be a Z double bond. And that's what I want on 4. Otherwise, I'd have to draw it up here to make it E. It would look bad, but it would still be clearly E. So we don't need to look bad because the Z has that group down here. I need to draw a vinyl first. C double C. And off the vinyl, there's an iodo. I'll put it in red so you don't think it's attached. And why did I have to draw it down there? And that doesn't look like an I. It looks like a sideways H. I might have trouble doing the I. That's my I. Just so we're clear. There you go. Now it has to be down instead of up, because if it was up, it would be a Z iodo group. It needs to be an E iodovinyl group. And there it is. This group Z, because priority 1 off of here is carbon, and the carbon's here. And the hydrogen here is 2, and this carbon is 2. All right. 15 is a methylene, so I already decided that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 has to be here. Methylene is a C double C off of 15. Do we have all the groups? 2 isobutyls, iodovinyl, methylene, check. Stereocenters, 1 has to be R. And the stereocenter priorities go. CH2 that then goes to a branch carbon is number 1. CH2, CH2, oh, it's a tricky one. CH2, CH2, C with 2 bonds to C. Oh, that one, I got the 1 wrong. Thank you for politely waiting. That's a 2. Methylene on the carbon is 1. That's a 2. It's 1. That carbon has 3 more bonds to C. 1, 2, 3. You can't say that about any of these other carbons. Now, which CH2 is going to win? This one. CH2 versus this CH2. CH2 once, twice, C with 2 bonds to C. CH2 once, twice, C with only 1 bond to C. So we have our 4 in the middle. We have our 3 up here. 1, 2, 3, connect to R. Everything's going rosy in this question. It's okay. If it didn't connect to be R, I would have just made this, what I'm doing right now, into a wedge instead of a dash. And you pick an adjacent for the wedge. Make sure it goes all the way up there. Some of you have seen what happens if your wedge stops short or your dash stops short. I count your carbons and tell you, hey, you just added a new carbon. Don't do that. Okay, carbon 9 needs to be S. This one, we'll go with the baby blue. CH2 that then goes to a branch, C. And then, oh no, I did it again. This C H2 goes to a C with nothing but 3 more bonds to C. That's going to beat this one, which is now a 2. I don't know. What's my quickest fix there? Eraser. 2. And which CH2 starts hitting stuff? I think it's this one. 1, 2, 3. Fourth one is stuff. 1, 2, 3. Fourth one has no stuff. So my 4 is in the middle again. And my 3 is here. It's already S. So it's very rare for the number 4 to always end up on a dash in one exam like this, but you know, happens. There you go. A lot of work for those points. Nomenclature is always like that. A lot of work, not a lot of points. Going down here, you have to know that these are both short forms for phenols. I know you're not allowed to use short forms, but the teacher is. Not fair, but that's life. Carbon 1 is here. Why? Because alkenes are more important than groups is why. 5,5-diphenyl. 1-pentene. 5 carbons, double bond between 1 and 2. This one, you want the first double bond on the lowest number. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, you do want to shoot for the longest chain, right? Yes, you do. So I'm going to go 9, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16. And there's a geometry on the double bond between 6 and 7. So you're going to say hexadeca. Now you got 2 double bonds. One of them starts on 1, the other one starts on 6, and you say 2 double bonds. And hopefully I can move that down because I have groups on here too. Well, what can you do? There you are. I only have one group on here, and it's this thing off of 7. Love it. Pen. There's a group on 7. It's a propyl group off of 7. 1, 2, 3. A propyl that also has a phenyl. A propyl group is what's attached. So you end the name with what's attached to the chain and tell me there's a phenyl on the 3rd carbon. 3-phenyl propyl. And there's also geometry on this double bond down here. You cut it in half. You put missing H on. That's a 2 on the same side as a 2. And a 1 on the same side as the 1. It's Z. The 1s are on the same side. Groovy. This one, you have a choice of 2 carbons for carbon 1. Given the fact there's a group on this one, makes that the better choice for carbon 1. You need the double bond that's in the ring to have the lowest possible number. It must be 1. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Did I do that right? Seems like it might not be right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I didn't do that right. It just didn't seem odd to me. 7. 14. Cyclotetradecaine covers the ring and the double bond. Now, students can put a 1 here. In my old days when I was young and not as nice. I don't know what to say. I used to say, you don't need the 1 there, and I take a quarter point off. But if you put a 1 with the "-ine", I don't mind. Seriously, I don't. It's not wrong. But it's understood in a ring, the double bond has the highest priority when it's just groups and double bonds. And I'm going on and on. It's got a vinyl group on 1. It's got an allele group on, is that 7 or 8? It looks like a 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. Allele and an iso. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Isohexyl. So I got A for allele, I for isohexyl, V for vinyl. So I'm going to do that. 7 allele. 7 isohexyl. Dash 1 vinyl. It also has geometry for a double bond, this double bond. And the one priority of these two for the number 1 is the double C. It gets a 1. And the one priority on the other side is over here, a carbon versus a hydrogen. Ones are opposite of each other. So 1 is E. You can write just E or 1E. The reason is there's no more double bonds with geometry. So I know you're talking about double bond with geometry. And next one, you're going to talk about stereocenter. So on the stereocenter, we have groups that go like this. A 1 for a CH2 that goes to a C with 2 bonds to C. And which CH2 hits something sooner? Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, nothing yet. Once, twice, 3 times, 4th time has a branch. The 4th carbon has 2 bonds to carbon. The 4th bond here, 4th carbon has only 1 more bond to carbon. And this one hits CH2 for many, many times. And right now, it's double switch time. So you're paying the price for all that luck you had earlier. Just trying to make that a nicer looking 3. You got to do a double switch or else it's just guessing. The 4 is not on a wedge or a dash. We don't have any tricks to get a short, the answer quick. 4 needs to be on the dash to do double switch. That means it switched with 2. You better also switch 3 and 1 or you're going to get the wrong answer. It's R. Stereocenter on 7 is R. I will accept this in front. The only times I won't accept that is when, you have 2 stereocenters or 2 double bonds with geometry. You got to tell me which one you're talking about. But here it's just double bond and stereocenter. Moving on, almost there. Whew. This is a disguised vinyl group here. CH2 has to have a double bond in there. This portion here, also vinyl, but it's got a methyl on it. 1 methyl vinyl. 1 methyl vinyl. And what else? We have a methylene. So which goes first, methyl vinyl or methylene? Methylene follows the word methyl, the prefix methyl with E. And this one is a bromoallele. It's a 3 bromoallele. It's a Z3 bromoallele. That's going first. Z3 bromoallele. And it's attached to whatever I don't even know yet. We got to find the bridgeheads, don't we? Bridgeheads are dot and dot. They're shared by all possible ring combinations. Both bridgeheads have a group, so I can't use that to decide which goes to number 1. The double bond in the ring is the most important number to keep low. This double bond that's part of the ring, not this double bond. That's a group off the ring. I don't care. Not special. That's a group. Methylene. This is a double bond in the ring. And that means this is 1, 2, 3. And let's keep counting. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we go to the right for 10. And we have our methylene on 13, 11, 12, 13. And we'll take it from there. So the bicyclo part, I don't know how much room I need. You don't have to worry about boxes anymore. Well, we go from 1 to 9 without counting 1 and 9. That's a 7 bridge. And this bridge is a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, 6. And the one on the bottom, was it also a 6? No, we already did the bottom one. The middle one is a 2. 1, 2. 7 plus 6 plus 2, 15. Add 2, 17. Heptadec. Tell me where the double bond is. 2-ene. Okay. So we got one of the groups. We got the bicyclo part. We got the 2 vinyl groups to name now. Methyl vinyl starts with an M. It goes next, and it's on carbon. Oh, don't forget methylene. Methylene was next. 13 methylene. 13 has methylene. Then the other one that's meth. Methyl vinyl. Carbon 9 has a 1-methyl vinyl group. And there's a straight up vinyl on 1. And I believe that's all the groups. There's 2 stereocenters to deal with and a double bond with geometry. This thing's worth more than 5 points. This is a nightmare. You're not going to have one this severe on your test. Okay. Whew. Stereocenter on 1. Finishing strong. Deep breath. Which one's a higher priority, a C-double-C in the vinyl or a C-double-C here? The answer is the C-double-C here because this one has another C immediately. This one has just the C-double-C. So he goes 1 for that C-double-C, 2 for the vinyl C-double-C, 3 for the CH2 that goes, oh boy, this is trickier than tricky. These are both CH2s that go to CH2s that go to C with nothing but C. CH2, CH2, C with nothing but C. I haven't broken a tie yet. But if you're asking about these 3 bonds to C, 1 to a CH2, another to a CH2, a third to a CH2, and I'm looking straight at this guy here, that would be the highest C off of this C with nothing but C, and it has no H's. All of these C's have H's. So trickiest stereocenter on this page right here. That makes this a 3. Happily, the 4 is on a wedge. Small mercy. 1, 2, 3 is the wrong answer. Clockwise is wrong on stereocenter 1. Therefore, S is correct. There's double bond with geometry between carbons 2 and 3. So let's do it next. Which of those 2 carbons is the higher priority? The C with nothing but C? Yes. C with H's and only 1 bond to C? No. So 1 is up here and 2's there. And clearly down here, the 1 is here opposite the 1 there. It's E. 2 is E. Final stereocenter. Teachers fading. It's okay. It was epic. We have stereocenter. I'm going to go, I don't know, let's go purple. That's the one on this stereocenter. C with nothing but bonds to C. This CH2 goes to another CH2, goes to a branched C. This CH2 goes to another CH2 that doesn't go to a branched C, goes to another CH2, which then goes to a branched C. And 4, already on a dash, has so many CH2s compared to the other ones. And this one's going to be as is, R. 9 is R, because the 4 is already on a dash. And there's that epic name. I don't even know where it starts and where it ends anymore. I'm going to put it in yellow. It started up here and continued here. Everything in here is the name. Woof, that's all I have to say.
I have a
Yes.
question.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Sure.
I know that, okay, so as far as the 1s goes, we know it's S because the 4 is on a wedge and it that way was incorrect.
Yeah, R incorrect. Correct. Yes.
But so like I know that like the rule or whatever is okay, that's not it, so it's the other one. But if we did the single switch, that's what we would do, right? It would still appear as an
No, a
R.
single
Why?
switch doesn't give you the right answer, it gives you the other answer.
Oh, okay.
But
Right.
you want to verify and say you don't know that little trick you just described. Hey, when
Right.
the 4 is on a wedge, connect 1, 2, and 3, you got the wrong answer. Well, pretend you
Yeah.
never learned that trick.
Okay.
Just do a good old double switch.
Okay.
Good old double switch will verify. You got to move the 4 from where it is to over here. That means you switched it with the 2. The 1 and 3 also have to switch, or else you don't get the right answer. And as promised, it's S.
Yeah,
Is
so
S.
when okay, so now I'm confused again
Well, wait. Well,
about
this
when do
trick
we
we didn't need to do a double switch when the 4 is on a wedge because we have a trick that's just as good as no trick
okay.
at all, right?
So when do we do a single switch?
When the
Now
number
I'm
4 is
lost.
not on a wedge
Or do
or
we
a
just not?
dash. When the number 4 is not on a wedge or a
Oh,
dash. That's the only time you do a double switch. It's the only time on any of these practice questions I've
no,
done
I
a
mean
double
single
switch.
switch.
Single switch is when you have to create
No,
a
I
new
mean
stereo
when
center. You're given a question,
oh,
draw all of the stereoisomers. You're not given a molecule you
right.
have to name. No, you have to create a new molecule where one stereocenter is different than it was before. Well, one easy way
Okay.
to do that is just to do a single switch on something you already drew earlier, and you know the answer will be the opposite of what you drew earlier, because a single switch switches the stereocenter.
Right.
That
Okay.
also works for the double switch. A double switch is an analysis for naming things. Every single switch you do change the stereo center. So the first switch gave you the opposite stereo center. The second switch put you back to the original. That's why it's good for nomenclature. You're back to the original. You're naming the original. So there's only one thing to memorize. It's not when do you do double switch, when do you do a single. The only thing to memorize is a single switch changes the stereo center. End of story. That's the only story. No, I think I lost her. Where is she? I see her.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
I get it.
There you go. If
Thank
you
you.
get it, then it makes me happy. All right. I'm going to call it a day.
Wait, so
No, we're not.
if you have like an R, you do a single switch, then it goes
It's guaranteed
it's
to
like
be an S. Yes.
okay.
That's a fact. That's what switches do. All righty.
Oh, and then just one more thing.
Sure.
So this is really like a question we have to do, but just like to make sure. So for this, I should have asked you earlier, but so in like the pKa and acid bases, so the more stable side would usually be the smaller number, right?
No, the opposite. Smaller number means more reactive, more acidic.
Oh,
Larger
yeah.
number means less reactive. Another way to say less reactive is to say more stable. They are the same thing. If you're less reactive, you're more stable. When we're talking pKa's, the higher number is the less reactive one. It's the more stable one. Equilibrium will favor that acid in the two acids that you put pKa's with every time. Circle the arrow that points to the larger number.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay, and that's all for me today.
All
I
right.
don't
I think
have
we had a
any
good
other
day.
questions. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, guys. You take care of yourselves,
You too.
and we'll see you around.